Champions League match day 1 predictions, 18 games to get through. What's the first one?
Well, we better get straight into it there with PSV Eindhoven against Union Saint-Gilloise. I hope I pronounced that right.
Yeah.
This is the 26 times Dutch champions against the champions of Belgium. And don't underestimate this one, Theo, because it's going to be a close game.
This will be a Ricardo Pepi masterclass. PSV are going to beat the USG. They're going to prove they're the best 3 abbreviation in the Champions League, apart from PSG. 3-1 win.
But the thing about PSV, Theo, they always score in Europe. But you look at Union, 4 clean sheets in a row. And they've got a lad called Kevin Rodriguez. 4 goals already this season. But I think this is going to go with home advantage, 2-1 to PSV. Athletic Club Bilbao against Arsenal of London. It is North Spain against North London, Theo. Now Bilbao, another team not to underestimate. They got to the semi-finals of the Europa League, didn't they, last season?
And what happened? They lost 3-0 at home to Manchester United. I think they lost 4-1 away. Arsenal are going to go here and beat them too. They usually lose to big English teams, and this will be Bilbao 0, Arsenal 2. Yes, there's no Saka. Saliba could be back, but there's enough quality. You're going to get gyoked.
Thing about Bilbao, they were back in this tournament for the first time in a decade, but they lost at home at the weekend. They lost to Man United last season. You've got to go with Arsenal here. I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park, but I think 2-1 to Arsenal. Juventus against Borussia Dortmund of Germany. This is a repeat of the 1997 European Cup final. You weren't even born, Theo. How's this going to go?
I did check over that game, and it was a 3-1 win to Dortmund. This will be in Turin, not a neutral ground, and I think Juve look very solid off their 4-3 win over Inter. A big, big goal from Kenan Yildiz and the new Montenegro wonder kid, Adzic. They're going to limp cup again, and I think they'll beat Dortmund by 1 goal, 3-2. It's going to be a classic, and the winner will be from Kenan Yildiz.
Well, you're getting right into it today, Theo, but Juventus have got a very good record in this fixture, but Borussia Dortmund set off really well in the Bundesliga. Don't you think they can get anything here?
Well, Max Bayer is an excellent player. Dortmund looked like they're doing a bit of a transition, but Juve on top. They've qualified for the Champions League. They're looking strong in Italy. I think they get the win here.
And you know what? I'm just going to agree with you. Juventus to win 2-1. Benfica against Karabag of Azerbaijan. Theo, now Benfica, they've won this tournament twice in their history. They're the better known team, but both of these teams had to qualify. So what do you reckon?
Well, Benfica are going to have a lot of fun here. They're going to absolutely smash it. They could win this by 4 or 5. I'm going to go conservative with a 3-0 win. Pavlidis should score a hat-trick, but I think the Greek striker will get 2. Pavlidis with 2, Benfica 3-0.
Well, I tell you what, Benfica unbeaten in 9 games. And you look at the 4 qualifying games, they did not concede a goal. So Karabag have had to come a long way. I think a really good bet here, Theo. A couple of quid on Karabag not to score. And I reckon it
won't get much back.
That is, well, maybe not, Theo, but I'm just going to go 2-0 to Benfica. Tottenham Hotspur against Villarreal. It's the winners of the Europa League against the 5th best team in Spain. It's also Thomas Frank, Theo, his first appearance in Europe against Marcelino, his 50th game in Europe. Could that be a factor?
I think there's only one winner here, and it's Tottenham. They're going to batter Villarreal. They've got new additions of Kolo Muani and Xavi Simons, and they went and beat West Ham away 3-0. Lucas Bergford was excellent. Doesn't matter who they play. Tottenham win this game. Thomas Frank gets his first Champions League game in his managerial history with a win. I think it'll be 2-0.
Wow. I mean, Kolo Muani, Theo, this is, I think, 4 UCLs for 4 different teams. I mean, he's all over the place, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
But the thing about Tottenham, they've got a poor record against Spanish teams. But the thing about Villarreal, they've got a poor record against English teams. Do you think they've got no chance?
No chance. They're not even going to score. This will be 2-0 Tottenham.
And I'm just going to agree with you. Shake hands. 2-0. Real Madrid against Marseille now, and I am actually wearing the shirt today, Theo. This is the godfathers of the tournament against the lads from France who always put up a fight, and they actually won it in 1993. Go on, Theo, tell me, it's going to be a massive win to Real Madrid.
Yeah, the Bernabeu will see goals in this game. Marseille have actually never won in a Champions League match with De Zerbi. I think De Zerbi's never won a Champions League match. 6 fixtures, 2 draws, 4 losses. Real Madrid, they've started the season solid. I think 4 wins, 1 draw with Xabi Alonso as coach. Mbappe scored in the last game. So did Arda Güler against Sociedad in that 2-1 win. Even with 10 men, they held them out. Real Madrid are going to win this fixture. I'll give a goal to Mason Greenwood, but there'll be 3 goals for Real Madrid. And I think Mbappe will score a brace against French opposition. He scored a lot in the old Classique in France, and he'll score a brace here.
Overall, you look at Marseille, not as good on the road. So I'm going to go, like you, 3-1 to Real Madrid.
We agree.
Olympiacos against Paphos is the game we're all waiting for. It's the Greek champions against the Greek Cypriot champions. This is like a derby. You look at Olympiacos' record, Theo. Won the last 8 games, 5 clean sheets out of 5. They're expected to win this easily, but will they?
Yeah, they will. They've got Dan Podence and Mehdi Taremi in their team now. I told Podence to go back to Olympiacos. He's done it. You know, the owner, Marinakis, has given the fans what they want, and I think they are favourites. They have to beat the Cypriot champions here. Greece needs to show they're above Cyprus. Simple as that, don't they?
Well, they do, Theo. Now, Paphos lost at the weekend. I think it was to Apollon of Limassol. But look at who they beat in the qualifiers. Maccabi Tel Aviv, Dynamo Kiev, and Red Star Belgrade.
That's a good
Only
win.
Conceded 3 goals in 6 games.
Yeah, Paphos have got new Russian billionaire owners, and they're pumping the money in. And I think they're only going to sign more exciting players. They've got David Luiz, they've got Miroslav Orsic, the Croatian winger, who's got real special moments in him. They're only going to keep investing. It's exciting, but right now Olympiacos have a better team. 2-1 win.
3 words, low-scoring game, Theo. This could easily be a 0-0 here, but I'm going to give 1 goal to Olympiacos. 1-0. Slavia Prague against Bodo Glimt, Theo. This is the Czech champions against the Norwegian champions. Some people are saying this should have been the final.
I'm going to sit on the fence here with a 2-2 draw. I can see both teams scoring, but no more El Hadjouf. I'm fuming.
Yeah, I know what, but Slavia Prague have made a great start to the season, Theo. They've got to be the favourites here.
And they actually have never lost on their first Champions League game. They are the favourites here, but I think Bodo Glimt will come fighting. European semi-finalists last year, first time in the Champions League. They're going to score 2 away from home and yet come out with a point.
And that is the problem with Bodo Glimt, Theo, because in Europe they've got a really poor away record, but there again, Slavia have got a poor European away record recently. I'm going to sit on the fence and say 1-1. Bayern Munich against Chelsea, Theo. This is what it's all about, the Champions League. It's a repeat of the 2012 final, which was won by Chelsea on penalties, if my memory serves me correct. Now, Bayern Munich, what a start they've made to the Bundesliga. 5 games, haven't conceded a goal, 100% record.
Yeah, Luis Diaz, Elise and Harry Kane are causing real problems. Exciting team. Pavlovic adding lots of depth in that midfield, and I think against Hamburg they smashed it. Chelsea have just come back from a tough Brentford away fixture. The match before that against Fulham, they got lucky with a decision. They got actually unlucky with the Brentford VAR at the end, but they're starting to have hiccups, and I think Bayern could come here and win. I've actually predicted a 2-2 draw because the likes of João Pedro and the likes of Esteval on their day can turn up and make their moments. And I think they rested a few players in that Brentford game. The likes of Cucurella didn't start, Cole Palmer didn't start. They'll be back and ready for the Champions League match. As long as they don't play Gittins and Buonanotte, I just don't think they're that good.
I mean, let's not forget that Chelsea are the FIFA World Champions, Theo, and you're the one who says that that means something.
Yeah.
And with Cole Palmer, the moment he got on the pitch this weekend, the game changed, didn't it?
Yeah.
So he is the key here. I think this is going to be an absolute cracker with loads of goals. It's going to be Bayern Munich 3, Chelsea 2. Paris Saint-Germain against Atalanta. It is the holders of this tournament against the challengers from Italy. Now, PSG first, Theo. They are brilliant in this tournament. I think the last 13 times they've got through to the final phase, haven't they?
Yeah, they won the last home game against Lens without their big hitters of Doué and Ousmane Dembele. And unfortunately, about 25 minutes in, Kvaratskhelia also got injured, which means they're without their big hitters for this game. But they don't need them. Atalanta at home, it's a winnable fixture, especially they've got no Ademola Lookman, who's put in a transfer request and they didn't let him go to a rival of Inter. Yeah. So now he's just sat inactive in training, not playing. It's a weird situation. What would you do?
It is a very weird situation, but I've just found a very interesting fact about PSG.
Yeah.
The last 99 games in Europe, there have been no 0-0 draws.
Wow.
But the thing about Atalanta, Theo, they won the Europa League in 2024, so they know about winning silverware in Europe.
Yeah, Lookman was a big reason for that, and now he's not playing. Unless he makes a mad recovery, who knows? I'm going to back PSG. Even with Lee Kangin, Gonzalo Ramos, and Barcola, I think they'll do the business. 3-1 to PSG.
I'm going to go narrower than that, 2-1 to PSG. Ajax against Inter Milan is a repeat of the 1972 European Cup final. I was 4 years old then, Theo. Now, we know about Ajax. They've made a good start in the Eredivisie, but they're not very good in Europe recently, and they're not very good against Italian sides.
Ajax have failed to win their last 13 European matches against Italian opposition. And it's great that they're back in the Champions League, but to start it against the Champions League finalists is going to be very tough for them. I don't think they'll come away with any points. Inter, they've had a mixed start. They've got a new manager in place now. I think they'll come away with a win here, 2-1.
But the thing about Inter Milan, Theo, look at the last 4 UCL games, conceded 13 goals. So Ajax will have watched those videos, and this could easily be like a 2-2 or something.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to go Ajax 1, Inter Milan 2. They've just got that little bit more quality. Liverpool against Atletico Madrid is the champions of England against the other team from Madrid, Theo. When you were about 6 years old, you saw Madrid, didn't you, against Bolton Wanderers?
Yes, I did, Thog Dad, and it was an exciting match where Bolton actually came away with a win. The problem is, I also think Liverpool are going to come away with a win against this club. Frimpong's back. Isak's going to make his debut. Simeone will try and make it hard, but they will eventually score maybe 2 second-half goals, considering Liverpool have won their last 3 games in the last 10 minutes. Liverpool 2, Atletico 0.
I mean, the thing about Liverpool, they are just so brilliant at home. I think it's March the 16th from memory when Liverpool last lost a home game. But look at Atletico Madrid, Theo. Julian Alvarez, Antoine Griezmann. They have talent there.
Yeah.
On their day, could they sneak a 0-0?
They could sneak a 0-0, they could sneak a goal, but I think Liverpool will score more, and that's why I went 2-0.
Okay, now Liverpool have won their last 2 games 1-0. I think this time they're going to go one further, 2-0 to Liverpool. FC Copenhagen of Denmark against Bayer Leverkusen of Germany, Theo. A couple of good teams here, and a couple of players like El Yanusi and like Patrick Schick. There's some talent on that pitch.
Well, Leverkusen have a tough year. Ten Hag got sacked a few games in. Now they've got Hulmand. The son is actually a player for Sporting, and his dad is a bit of a footballing legend. And he's going to steady the ship at Leverkusen. But FC Copenhagen, they just lost the derby to Brøndby 2-1. They want to bounce back. I think this will be a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, you could well be right, Theo. Now, Leverkusen got a good win at the weekend against Eintracht Frankfurt. That'll be very good for their confidence. And I think that might be the difference. This will be a very close game. Copenhagen 1, Bayer Leverkusen 2. Club Brugge against Monaco. Now it's Belgium against France, or rather against Monaco, in that fairy tale town of Bruges there. This could be a close one.
Yeah, it could be. Monaco looks strong again. They've brought in Eric Dyer, Pogba and Ansu Fati. A mad transfer window. But it will probably beat Bruges. I mean, they qualified thanks to a 9-1 win over Rangers in 2 legs. Then they fell off in their league form. I think Monaco edged this one out. 2-1 win away from home. Maybe a Pogba winner.
I think a lot of people underestimate Bruges because they've got 17 goals in the last 6 home games there. You don't think they could go out and win this one easily?
Nothing Adolf Hutter can't destroy.
I mean, then you've got the likes of Minamino. He's one of the biggest names in this game. Ex-Liverpool, ex-Southampton. I think this could be a close one, and I'm going to go 1-1. Eintracht Frankfurt against Galatasaray. Now it is Germany against Turkey, and that is always a lively encounter, isn't it, Theo? Now, Frankfurt, until this weekend, was scoring freely and doing very well, and then they lost. Galatasaray, brilliant home form.
Yeah, absolutely, Dad. John Matteo Bohoya is the player for Frankfurt who has stood out since signing from Angers. And Galatasaray have had a busy transfer window. Icardi started last game and scored, but they've now signed Osimhen, and he could be back in the firing line. I'm sure if he plays, he will score. What a threat he is, by the way, to sign on permanent. But not just that, Edison between the sticks. I'm wearing the badge here. I think they'll come away with a solid point. I think Galatasaray now, with the quality on the pitch, can hold out teams like Frankfurt. This will be a 2-2 draw.
Oh my goodness, they are now Galatasaray, brilliant in the Turkish league. I think their record is 15 goals scored, 1 conceded in 5 games. But this is Europe, Theo, and this is away from home. And Galatasaray in Europe are bottle jobs.
No.
I'm sorry, yes they are. This will be a comfortable home win to the Germans. Eintracht Frankfurt 3, Galatasaray 1. They bottle everything in Europe. Sporting Club de Portugal against Kairat Almaty of Kazakhstan, Theo. I think the away team has had to travel 7,200 kilometres. Now, most people will predict this to be a 4-0 or a 5-0.
Yeah, it's a long distance to go, and it's a long distance to get battered, because that's what's going to happen. Pedro Gonçalves scored in the 22nd minute last match, and now he's going to be licking his lips for more. This will be Sporting 5, Kairat Almaty 0.
Almaty, Theo. Look at their last 4 games, 4 clean sheets.
Yeah, and they're not playing European heritage, though, are they?
They're not. And you've mentioned Goncalves, 5 games, 4 goals, 3 assists. He could have a lot of fun here, but I don't think it's going to be a cricket score.
What, you think Satpayev, the hero who got them to the Champions League, is going to score again?
That is good ball knowledge. But you know what? I'm going to go with the Portuguese 2-0. Newcastle United of England against FC Barcelona of Catalonia, Theo. Thrown right in the deep end, Newcastle, eh?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough fixture. No Lamine Yamal for Barca, which is a bit unfortunate. Apparently he was taking extra injections during Spain international break, even though they were already winning. Very silly from De La Fuente. Hansi Flick was furious about that. And now it will have to be Rafinha And Lewandowski as well came off the bench, 23 minutes, scored 2 goals against Valencia. Still very good players in that team, Ferran Torres, etc. So I think Barcelona will come here and get the job done. I know a lot of teams come to Newcastle like PSG and they lose. But I think Barca, they're just one of the best teams in the world. They want to win the Champions League this year. They have to start with a win. Newcastle 1, Barcelona 3.
Voltemada straight into the team and scored his debut goal against Wolves. I mean, that was an important result, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an important result, but Wolves at home is not quite Barca at home.
And certainly, you look at Newcastle's recent record in the UCL, 1-1, drawn 3, and lost 4. But that win was 4-1 against PSG. You remember that? We were in Dortmund that day.
You think Rashford's going to score in this game?
I think he might well, Theo. He's in form. Lopez, Rafinha. You've mentioned all the names already.
Anthony Gordon's back in the team for Newcastle. That brings extra depth.
And that is good news, Theo. Yes, he had that ban, didn't he? But he's not banned in Europe. Newcastle have got a good team, but Barcelona have got a brilliant team. And for that reason, Newcastle 1, Barcelona 3. And last but not least, it's Manchester City against Napoli, Theo. The homecoming of Kevin De Bruyne. And also the return to Manchester of Scott McTominay, the Lancaster bomber, and Rasmus Højlund, who scored at the weekend.
McTominay was Player of the Year last year, so he's going to come back with different form. Manchester derby was yesterday, Dad, and all these Manchester players are back in town.
It is absolutely amazing. Now, this is Pep Guardiola's 17th UCL campaign, and he will love this game. But you look back to 2023, it was a poor campaign, wasn't it?
Well, you think with Conte, they've always got a shot, Napoli. They're going to turn up and they're going to pray that Kevin De Bruyne is still in the same form that he is, and McTominay can score headers as much as he does in Serie A. I don't think so. Man City looks strong. Haaland scored an incredible brace against United. They're on fire. This will only go one way. It's their home team because Donnarumma, between the sticks, brings confidence to the whole 11. We know that. This will be Man City 2, Napoli 0. I'm sorry.
Honestly, that save that Donnarumma made at 2-0 was absolutely sensational. Now, I wouldn't jump to conclusions on this one thing. Napoli are top of Serie A. I think they've conceded 1 goal in the league already. They've got some very good players.
Both their fullbacks are 32. They're going to get cooked by Man City wingers. It's going to create chance for Haaland. This will be a 2-0 win.
And you could be right. And certainly look at Napoli's record in English soil. 1 non, drawn 3, lost 9. So that is very poor. And for that reason, I'm thinking Man City 2, Napoli 1.
That is all 18 games predicted. Let us know in the comments, how's your club going to do in the Champions League? See ya!